all comes down to one final race here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Championship Night for the High Tide Racing League Guardian Premier Series. My name is Little Ramble alongside Austin Edstrom. We bring you all of a racing action from start to finish here this afternoon. Austin, one more race to go before racing action draws to a close here this season, and what a season it has been, full of action, full of controversy, and everything in between. Tonight's race is going to be no different. We're set for a barn burner here in Miami.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you come down to the Homestead-Miami Speedway down here in South Florida, it's going to be a good, honestly, a really good race. Every time we come here running these NASCAR cars around this place, I get super, super excited. And, hey, we got a little bit added on to this race here tonight because it is the championship race. We got 4 drivers all out here tonight gunning for the championship, while we've still got a really big grid of other guys just looking to end their season off on a high note here tonight. So there's a lot on the line for 4 drivers in particular, and still some bragging rights for the rest of the guys out there as well.
Let's take a look at who's going to be fighting for this one here in the championship race this afternoon. Jaden Hopp, the odds-on favorite, enter racing action tonight. He has been in control all season long with multiple wins under his belt. He is definitely the favorite entering racing action tonight. He's already got half a season under his belt. He is set to make his mark here this afternoon as the championship favorite here this afternoon. Then you have Dustin Ping, the number 81. Dustin Ping right now situated as the only driver going for a repeat championship here this afternoon. Dustin Ping, the champion from season number 2. A long-time veteran here in the High Tide Racing League. Can he be the High Tide Racing League's first repeat champion here at the end of the night? Jeremiah Hobbs, the hard charger of the season. He has been having one heck of a season for himself, right? He wasn't much to talk about at season start. What an improvement he has made, getting his first podium, then his first win, as Jeremiah Hobbs is set to try and lock himself in to a championship here this afternoon. And then, of course, the driver, the odd one out, it's Wyatt Walker, the Final Four contender, back in the one that shouldn't have been racing here this afternoon, right, for a Final Four. Benjamin Lacey knocked him out with a race win at Atlanta Motor Speedway just 1 week ago, but then Lacey withdrawn immediately post-race, moving Walker back into contention. So Wyatt Walker, the lucky man, entering racing action this afternoon, and definitely the black sheep of the Final Four. So Austin, who do you got? Who do you have as the favorite? The black sheep, the odds-on favorite, the veteran, or the hard charger this afternoon?
Well, I hate to do this, but I think I'm going to have to give you the boring answer and say the favorite. I mean, Jaden Hopp has just been so good this year, right? I think that no matter who was in the Final Four tonight, I was going to pick Jaden Hopp to win the championship. I mean, he's been the quickest guy consistently all season long. There's been some guys that have challenged him here and there, right? Like Lacey went and won the race last week. Dalton Kilrose won a race or 2 here or there. There's been other guys up at the front. I believe Sean Williams has gotten himself a win this year. I mean, there's different guys that have, come up here and challenged Jaden Hopp, gotten themselves, onto the top of the score sheet at the end of one of these races. But I don't know, that 00 has just been stout every single week, right? I mean, I don't know if I've seen him outside of the top 3 very often this season. And, well, at a race like Homestead, with his competition today for the Final Four, a 3rd place might be enough for him to win the championship. But I say that, and there are, some heavy hitters that you never know. Homestead is one of those racetracks where it's almost a little bit different, so much different than other tracks, that a specific skill set from a driver can make them so much better at this track than, say, a Las Vegas or Atlanta. So I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody like Jeremiah Hobbs or Wyatt Walker just be faster here than maybe they are at other mile and a halves, but we'll just have to wait and see. I'm still going to go with the 00 though.
I think my pick is probably going to be Jeremiah Hobbs here this afternoon. With all the improvements that the number 3 has been making over the course of the season, he is definitely going to be a big, big hitter in racing action here this afternoon. I think it's going to be either him or potentially Dustin Ping, right? Just for the sake of we can't both pick the same driver, right? We all got to have our own people to cheer in the corner for. Dustin Ping, of course, coming into the Season 2 champion. Got lucky with the Season 2 championship. This time he might have to win it on all-out pace. 150 laps, though, set to kick off of racing action here this afternoon. And, well, we are just about ready to rumble here this afternoon from the Homestead-Miami Speedway. So started on pole position, it's going to be the likes of Jaden Hoff. How about it, right? The favorite started this race from pole position for the Old School Racers, one of the Final Four contenders. He starts alongside Dalton Kilroe, driver that was eliminated in the round of 12 in playoffs earlier this season. Row number 2 on the grade, you got Nick Nickerson, you got Ryan Philbrick. Started back in 3rd and 4th. Both of these drivers trying to see if they've got anything for the field here. One last time this season. Jesse Gordon and Kevin Foster bring it up in 5th and 6th. Gordon, one of the drivers that we should be keeping an eye on going into season number 5 here, where they return in just about a month and a half or so. Edith Skorsky and Tanner Marr bring it up on row number 4 for Unhinged Racing. And then, of course, it's going to be the likes of Dustin Ping, the season 2 champion, alongside the hard-charted season Jeremiah Hobbs, starting down at 10th. 3 of the Final Four contenders are starting in the top 10 this afternoon, Austin.
Yeah, and then the 4th one's going to be right back here on row number 6. Sean Williams, not a playoff contender, starting on the inside in the 11th place spot, but then finally your last of the 4 championship contenders. That's Wyatt Walker in that number 71. He'll be starting in the 12th place position, a little bit of ground that he's going to have to make up to be able to win this championship. One more row behind, starting at 13th, Nicholas Corcel. Michael Thorpe Jr., heartbreak last week, kept him out of the Final Four. He's looking to rebound this week, at least end the season off with a W. Starting back in 15th place, we've got David Leakey, number 84. Kyle Webben on his outside in the number 42. Then going back to row number 9, we've got Larry Bell in the number 43 and Scott Shire in the number 4. And then back to row number 10, Connor Gibson's going to be starting on the inside in the 19th place spot. Brian Dees for MFRD Racing on the outside 20.
Gibson knocked out of contention last week at Atlanta. He is looking to go out with a bang here this afternoon. Ty Maraska starts 21st alongside Paul Satmary. From there, it's going to be Mark Arthur and Bob Berry. Arthur, the last car to put down a qualified time here this afternoon. Michael Ashmore, Adrian Aloya closing out a 26-car field for 150 laps here this afternoon. Folks, hedge your bets. Who's going to be on top at the end of this one? There's a long race to go here this afternoon into the sunset at Homestead-Miami Speedway. It has been one of the most intense championships in Green Flag TV history, and it is showing no signs of slowing down anytime soon. The field going to work their way into turn numbers 3 and 4 and on to the front straightaway. Time to get the party started one more time. It's go, go, go on championship night.
Championship favorite, Jaden Hoff heading down to 1. There's a front bumper already flying coming down to turn 1. No debris cautions here on iRacing, but side-by-side for the race lead. Kilroe not in the battle for the championship, but he wants this race lead on lap number 1 coming down the back in Miami.
Dalton Kilroe to the point early on as they enter turn number 3 here this afternoon. The pack now starting to slice and dice as we cut around out of turn number 4 to the front straightaway. Kilroe leads lap number 1. And all 4 champion contenders within the top 10, but with a big buffer up to Jaden Hoff, the odds-on favorite to win racing action here tonight. Dustin Ping looking to attack Wyatt Walker down to the inside, coming around 3 wide on the backside of turn 2.
Ping actually with the worst start out of the 4 championship contenders. He's fallen a little bit, but he just dives it down into turn number 3, takes that position right back away from Wyatt Walker, moving himself back up to 3rd in the championship. But the best start by far, Jeremiah Hobbs up to 5th place already. Oh, contact, that's Michael Thorpe Jr. now going way down to the bottom of the racetrack, making it 3 wide with Wyatt Walker.
Dustin Ping, you saw him taking no prisoners in battles here this afternoon. He's trying to push up to Jeremiah Hobbs. Thorpe leans on the door of Wyatt Walker out of turn numbers 3 and 4. And now working down the back straightaway. Thorpe might drop out. And drop out he will as he'll slip back in behind Wyatt Walker here this afternoon. Ping still on the move, though, as he tries to go after Ryan Philbrick. Look at how quickly he has caught the back of Jeremiah Hobbs. Dustin Ping is on a mission this afternoon.
Yeah, Dustin Ping, like I said, had a bad start to this race. Now he's going to go to the top side of the racetrack after he's made up a couple of those positions that he lost right off the beginning, all the way up to the wall there in turn 1. Kind of late apex in this thing. Off the wall, down to the bottom, out of turn 2, getting a good run there to the outside of Ryan Philbrick still. He's going to move up to 6th place, and like you said, all over the back bumper of Jeremiah Hobbs for 2nd place in the championship. Now, the only problem is Homestead, very, very abrasive. Can Ping hang onto those tires while still motoring up through the field?
Ryan Philbrick looking to the inside of Ping now behind. Tanner Marr getting the push from Kyle Wellman to try to push himself further through the field. Thorpe trying to look for the inside of Wyatt Walker deeper in the field as well. Again, going to be 3 wide with Sean Williams down to the bottom. Ty Marasco all the way up to the outside wall as well. as they fire down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Now Kyle Wellman to the outside. He's going to try to duck around Kevin Foss with the GFR Racing number 8, and Tanner Marr slipping up from the inside just a little bit. Nearly contact between Wellman and the 8 and Kyle Wellman right to the back of Marr. We got trouble on the front straightaway. Multiple cars going around. Carousel spins. Caution flag is out for the first time tonight on lap number 6.
And is that Brian Dees that's absolutely destroyed down there on the bottom side of the racetrack? I could not quite tell who that was that had to take the tow, but somebody was down there with him who took a pretty big whack, front end completely gone. I'm going to try to get a look back to see who was in that with Carousel down there on the bottom side of the racetrack, and it looks like it was Brian Dees coming out of turn number 4 here. Oh, it's going to be Ty Marasco right in front on the outside of the racetrack here. He's going to find the wall out of turn 4, bounce off the fence. Oh, bounce right back into it, and then Carousel just nowhere to go. And then, well, it started with an MFRD car, and it ends with an MFRD car. Brian Dees, that's going to be his night and his season over.
That is a brutal hit into the inside wall there for Brian Dees took. That is vicious. Right into the fence as well for the number 17. Take a look at speed, and he's going to go down, and boom! Smokes the inside safer barrier and careens to a stop right near the end of pit road. David Lakey having a very close call. He was right behind the Massey and now finds himself running at 15th.
Luckily, all 4 of our championship guys were ahead of this accident, and that was pretty lucky for Lakey. Those guys just kind of washing out to the left side of the racetrack for him, just kind of getting out of his way, saying, we're going to go wreck down to the bottom, and we're just going to leave the top wide open for you, Lakey. You just go right on through, no damage for you. And, well, only one guy in the field feeling super comfortable right now. Actually, probably 2. Kilroe, obviously, in the front. And Hop, he's still got, a 2-car buffer to his championship rivals behind him. And I think he was saving tires back there in that second place pretty good, while some of his championship rivals were really having to burn theirs up to get through the field a bit. But a few cars further back actually decided to come down pit road, willing to bet this will not be a tire stop, probably just fuel for these guys.
A lot of drivers, in fact, from the back of the field, like you say, coming on down. Now, critically, none of your final 4 are among them. Hop still runs in 2nd, Hobbs in 5th, Ping in 6th, Walker back in 10th. So none of the final 4 have come down. These are all drivers, no one's even taking tires, right? They're going for fuel strategy here, as the vast majority just get splash and go.
Yeah, just not really worth it to take a set of tires here. We know that the High Tide Series here always errs on the side of, one less set of tires than you probably need, like throwing a little bit of strategy into the mix by having to save a tire set or being fringe having to save one. So most of those guys that come down here on lap 10 are just absolutely not going to take a set. It would just about derail your entire race with one random caution throughout the rest of it. As we see Kilroe trying to bump draft the transparent pace car. Not quite sure
what the plan is.
You can actually maybe trying to save gas using the air from it.
I don't think that works that way.
It doesn't. I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. And he is the master fuel saver. I know that he's got some tricks other people don't have. So maybe the pace car's a trick too that I didn't know about.
A vicious crash into the inside wall slows us down for the first time tonight. Before we go back to green, I want to reiterate how this championship will be decided, right? This is simply who finishes ahead of everybody else. There are no bonus points to worry about, right? This is a heads-up race. Whoever finishes the highest, that's your champion. Full stop. No ifs or buts about it. No ties, no countbacks. We will have a definitive champion at the end of the night.
Yep, don't have to worry about the points. Just got to worry about finishing as high as you possibly can. This one, get yourself up towards the front of the field. Get yourself that clean air, especially if you're Jaden Hop here. After about 10, 15 laps on these tires, saving, I imagine he'll want to get that clean air. But ultimately, I feel like he even knows, hey, I don't actually have to go up here and battle Kilroe, right? The one thing that Hop could really do to derail a championship opportunity is wrecking with the guy outside of the championship form. Would be a big mistake. So I'm sure Hop's going to be minding his P's and Q's on this restart, making sure he doesn't have any unwanted contact with Kilroe here for the lead.
Green flag up in the air this time by Ismail Hightails it down towards turn number 1. Jesse Gordon with not a good launch, stacks up Jeremiah Hobbs. Dustin Ping going to be able to get a run, trying to look for the outside line. This time by can Ping make the dive to get around the outside of Hobbs. He's going to try for it. Jeremiah Hobbs is going to back out, and just like that, Dustin Ping is through second in the championship.
Ping through 5th place, coming out of turn 4. Hobbs as close to the fence as he could possibly get, coming out of the corner, single file through the top 6, coming down into 1. Then we get down into the corner and just everybody spreads out. So many different lanes you can use on this racetrack to try to find speed, even in this ARCA car, which can be unbelievably tight in certain scenarios. You can still just find so much speed in any lane here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, especially down in turns 1 and 2. Down in 3 and 4. It's almost a bottom feeder racetrack, right? A couple people try it a little bit higher, and I think the high line will come in better when the tires wear, but man, you can just see everybody freight training the bottom for 3 and 4.
Dustin Ping has fought his way up to 4th place. He needs to get around Jesse Gordon, and when he does, there's nothing standing between himself and Jaden Hop. Hop can no doubt see Ping closing little by little in his mirrors, and Hop probably going to be feeling a little bit nervous, right? It's a long, long race, but you can lose it in a heartbeat. We just saw, right, Brian Dees only ran 6 laps tonight, and he is done for the afternoon. If you're a Final Four contender, you see something like that, all of a sudden, it really tries to stack things up, and you want to make sure that you can actually be there to fight for that championship at the end.
Yeah, that's a big thing, right? 150 laps. There's a lot of time for you to get up to the front. There's also a lot of time for you to make a massive, massive mistake that just cost yourself the championship right off the bat. So, obviously, here in the first 13 laps, you want that track position. You want to get up here and give yourself an opportunity, if you're Dustin Ping, to get to the back bumper of Jaden Hop and challenge, right, up here towards the front for the championship as he's side-by-side with Jesse Gordon for the 3rd place spot, unable to get that pass completed. But, in these early goings, he's still got to save that tire. Ping's made up a ton of position. He's done a great job now getting to the right rear of the 69, trying to take that 3rd place position away. I just hope that he's not running those tires off too quick, as he's going to get that right rear and the draft of Jaden Hop down the back.
Round the outside of Jesse Gordon, and it's on for the lead of the race here as Dustin Ping is set to try and make a solid drive here, trying to find his way around Jaden Hop for the lead of the championship and second in the race. Will he have a look at a turn 3 this time by? Hop pushing up to the bottom side. Ping going to dive it off in turn 2. But he won't be able to get the drive that he needs to have an attack in the 3.
Still like that line from Dustin Ping, though, down in 1 and 2. That's almost a tire-saving line. He's gotten the track position he needs at the moment. Then you just run the bottom down there in 1 and 2. Doing it again here through 3 and 4. Getting all the way down to that white line, at least as close as he can possibly get that number 81. And then he just keeps it low, coming off the corner, not using quite as much racetrack as Jaden Hop. Coming off the turn number 4. You're probably not going to be as quick. You're not using as much of the tire, though. Whenever you do not use as much of the racetrack, you're probably saving a little bit on throttle, not letting the car push across the grain of the track, right? So Ping maybe saving a little bit better because he's got that straighter exit from Hop. It's just the fact that he's probably used him up a little bit getting up to the 00, but hey, this is what Ping needed. Started, 9th, 10th place. He's all the way up to 3rd on the back bumper of your championship leader. And how about Kyle Wellman a little bit back there? Obviously not a championship contender, but man, he's moved all the way up to the 6th place position after starting back in 16th. He is working that high side of the racetrack, now down to the bottom as we come down to turn 1, trying to take 5th from Ethan Sikorsky.
And he's not the only one. Dustin Ping going for the lead of the championship to the inside of Jaden Hop. He pushes up for the inside line, but he doesn't get clear. Hop still up on the top side of the racetrack. Ping back to the inside into return number 3. The 00 all the way up top. Can he clear up successfully? Not this time. Hop's got too much of a run up on the outside of 4.
And Ping not willing to side draft as heavy as you probably need to make that pass here in the early going again. It's still early, only 10% into this race, so you don't want to take the guy out. But coming down the front straightaway, not utilizing the draft. But here off of 2, he just about got clear. Got the door all the way up to the nose. But again, Hop going to use that momentum off the top side of the racetrack, not let Ping clear him. And just about clear Ping before we get down into turn 3. But these two going at it for the championship lead, only 18 laps into this one.
Are you surprised, right? I mean, these cars have had they haven't been able to break away from each other all season long, so I am not shocked at all But just like that, Ping's offense turns against him as Jesse Gordon to the draft, able to get around the outside. And now Jaden Hopp is a little bit of a buffer to work with here. So Jesse Gordon will break up the battle with a points lead for now. Meanwhile, Ethan Sikorsky and Kyle Wellman, they were going side by side for a brief moment. You've also got drivers double foul behind. Look at Wyatt Walker as he fights it out with Tanner Marr.
Yeah, Walker, the lowest running of the championship 4 at the moment. He's side by side for the 8th place position. 1 spot behind a championship rival of Jeremiah Hobbs, but that outside line is absolutely moving around the number 71. Tanner Marr's going to take the spot. Sean Williams trying to take the spot, and Michael Thorpe Jr. almost followed him through as well. He's going to be side by side with Walker all the way through 1 and 2. Tanner Marr entered high, coming down low on the exit of the corner, and he's still going to stay in front of Sean Williams here, clear himself back across the nose. But Williams, he wants that position. He's going to go down to the bottom, cover off Wyatt Walker coming down into turn 3. Side by side, 2 rows deep. Tanner Marr on the top side of the racetrack, though. I don't think he's going to give it up to Williams. Williams tries through the center of the corner. Not quite enough momentum as Thorpe Jr. all over the back bumper of Tanner Marr. That's a bump draft down the front straightaway. The Homestead-Miami just shoving him down to the corner.
Nearly got checked up in a Wyatt Walker entering turn number 1 there that time by, as well as the pack works their way down the back straightaway. It's hard to believe we're already getting this type of racing right now. We are only 20 laps in. These guys wanted to put on a show here in the final race of the final race of season number 4.
Yeah, there's pretty good racing out here so far, and honestly, you know, we've had a race at this racetrack so far this season, right? I expected this race to be kind of similar, but I think it was 2 iRacing seasons ago, so we've had some different changes with the setup. I remember the last time we came here, there's about a 3-car battle for the race lead for most of the race, and they had kind of pulled away from everybody else. Here, it's a different pack that I'm seeing at the front, and there's not nearly as much field spread than what we saw the first time that we came to the Homestead-Miami Speedway this year. So obviously some setup changes or maybe some car changes on the iRacing side of things, keeping the field a little bit closer here tonight than they may have been in the past at the Homestead-Miami Speedway.
All that progressive banking that we see at this racetrack is also to help helping these cars keep nose to tail right as they push up to the outside wall once again. That outside lane able to get such a good run off the corners. And it's a run that the inside really can't contend all that much with, right? Because these cars they don't have that much power by stock car racing standards when you compare them to something like the Gen 4 car, right? But at the same time, that makes it so the outside line is so much more valuable for these cars.
Yeah, it really makes it where if you go down to the bottom to make a pass, you better get that move done in a corner. Like, you've got 1 corner, maybe 2 corners to get that done, and if you don't, then all of a sudden you get 2, 3, 4 cars lined up around the outside of the racetrack that are just going to motor right on by you without any problem. It's almost the inverse of what you see at Martinsville, where it's that bottom lane dominant train. You can kind of have the same thing here at Homestead, except it's the top line, right? So you really got to get that move done immediately whenever you go down to the bottom. Speaking of which, Dustin Ping up at the front, he's trying to do that right now. He's going down to the bottom of Jaden Hopp here through 1 and 2. Hopp all the way up to the fence as Ping gets a nose ahead, but it's not going to be enough coming off of turn 2 because, again, that top side is just too quick.
Ping tried this once before, right, and he's got to be careful not to get too overzealous with it because the last time he tried this extensively, Jesse Gordon was able to capitalize, go around the outside and retake third. Ping has managed to fight his way back. Caution flag is out, and it is for Ryan Philbrick in the middle of turn 4 as he spins down to the inside and onto the access road.
Good save from Philbrick. Couldn't quite tell exactly what started that off, whether he got contact or just lost it coming down into the corner, but he was pretty sideways down in the middle of 3 and 4 there, able to hang onto the race car, get it back through the grass. And the guy that just about won last week lost by a bumper to Benjamin Lacey, having a save down here in 3 and 4. He's side by side with Kevin Foster. That's Paul Sathmary in the 24 that just gives him a tap, maybe drives it in a little bit deeper than he meant to, a little bit higher up the racetrack than I think he meant to. And yeah, he didn't give him a lot of opportunity to save that.
No, he did not. That might catch the ire of the administration. Man, did you see Larry Bell just squeak through that?
I didn't really feel like Philbrick came. I mean, he did come down, but like it's entering the corner, and the guys in front of him are even lower. So I would probably put that more in Sathmary, but it's not. I don't know. It's not like egregious. Just continuing to drive through him was a little much, but no harm, no foul. I don't see any damage.
On board to Sathmary.
It's probably a good view right here. I mean, yeah, the car in front of Philbrick is already lower than Philbrick.
I mean, I hate to say it, but you heard him. That car throttled up. He throttled up when he got into him. I mean, there was no attempt to let save it. He absolutely just ran right through him. That is egregious.
I think he thought that Philbrick came down on him, but it looked like a very natural entering the corner line to me. Maybe just a little bit of an overreaction, but either way, like I said, no damage. So I'll let it slide, but hey, how about this? Jaden Hopp, he ends up winning the race out of pit road. Out of the 4 tire guys, anyway, 3 guys decided to come down and take fuel only, it looks like.
Very, very, very split decision here. Let's take a look at the pit stop time that we had here. And this tells a story, right? Saturn's with the lead, but he missed his pit stop, so we expect to see him come back down pit road. Anybody that's under 14 seconds realistically has taken fuel only, but look at how different it all is, right? Jaden Hopp is on tires. So is Ping. So is Hobbs. And way back in the field, so is Wyatt Walker, now back down to 15. But there's a lot of fuel-only cars in that have broken up the battles for the championship.
This is interesting. All 4 of the championship drivers took tires, though. They all had 14-second stops. It's just the guys like, Tanner Marr, Mark Arthur, the 2 leaders, Kyle Wellman, Jesse Gordon, only, 8 seconds in the box. That's not a lot of time whatsoever, so obviously you assume just gas. At this point, 28 laps in, you had 4 sets of tires behind the pit wall that you could change, so 5 total for the race. I get saving a set right now, but at a track like Homestead, I don't think you get a lot of cautions. So I kind of like the tires. I think that here, if you don't get that caution to come out, you're just dead in the water. You're just going to go backwards. So, it's an interesting call. But again, those drivers aren't in the championship 4. They don't have as much to lose, so might as well take the risk.
Paul Stanley will have a black flag as he found himself entering a closed pit road. Kyle Wellman will lead the way. The front row all on old tires. This one here might be about to get a little bit crazy here off of the jump. As the field gears up to restart once more, iRacing pace car makes the sharp left-hand turn to pit road. Jesse Gordon leading the way. He's on the lap out of Kyle Wellman. Green flags back in the air and racing action resumes.
Up at the front, Kilrow already ducking down to the left. One car ducking down all the way to the access road on the bottom into turn 1 further back. But up at the front, Wellman still in the race lead. Hopp, though, on the newer tires trying to come through as they're 3 wide further back. Ty Marasco way up top as Wellman still hanging on to the lead.
Jesse Gordon nearly caught the wall a couple times, headed down the back straightaway there. They are 3 by 3 wide, deeper in the field. Ty Marasco all the way up to the outside wall as he just barely clears round the outside of Michael Thorpe Jr. Ian Sikorsky also back in the melee. And hard into the outside wall that time by for Marasco. As Marasco sweeps up, he's into the fence again.
Ty's flirting with that outside wall. He's one of those guys that will go up there and use it all night long in Homestead-Miami. Typically, he's really, really good at it. Here, that corner, not one to write home for Ty, but I think he's got the hang of it. And also, he was one of those guys that didn't take tires under that last stop, right? He had a 7-second pit stop. He's actually got more speed than I would expect that number 1 car to have. Maybe he ended up taking 2. Nonetheless, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ty Marasco fighting up there in the top 5 by the end of the night.
Look at this hornet's nest all the way back here in the field as again Marasco get a little bit close with that outside wall. These guys are just going at it here. No holds barred. 3 wide up the road as well for the second place as Dalton Kumo trying to look at the inside of Kyle Wellman.
Yeah, and all these guys are just stacked up behind Wellman on the older tires, unable to go. But one guy that got by Wellman unbelievably quick is your championship leader. That's Jaden Hopp. He's gone. Kyle Wellman just about got gone. Into the fence, coming out of turn number 4. Looks like Kilbrow's going to clear for second. Still 3 wide for third, just about. No, Ping tucks back in line, then ducks right back out of it. 3 wide for third. Now through 1 and 2. Justin Ping going to be able to clear Kyle Wellman. Still stuck on the top side of the racetrack there is Kyle Wellman, but side by side. is Ping with Williams. Williams could not get the run off the bottom side of the racetrack. Ping now up to the third place spot. So we've got two championship contenders in the top three.
Jesse Gordon giving Wellman a shot to the shorts on the way into turn numbers 3 and 4. Wellman all the way up to the outside wall and nearly takes himself out on the nose of Jesse Gordon. Behind! You saw Hobbs get into the outside wall and he was spin across the nose of Wyatt Walker. It's complete chaos out here right now in the midfield. Looking for 4 wide now to turn numbers 1 and 2 in the middle of the straightaway.
Some championship contenders stuck 4 wide. Somehow they get out of it. I thought for sure that was going to be a race ender for Jeremiah Hobbs as they were stuck 4 wide out of turn 2. He hangs onto it. Thorpe Jr. hangs onto it. And now Hobbs stuck side by side with Wyatt Walker, another championship contender.
And here comes Michael Thorpe Jr. with something to prove right after he failed to race his way into the round of 4. And the main reason why is, well, unfortunately, because he was not present earlier in the round of 8. Jeremiah Hobbs also trying to fight his way up to the back of Kyle Wellman. But Thorpe here wants to prove to himself and to everybody else, if he made it to the Final 4, he could have won this championship tonight.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of guys throughout the field thinking, man, if I could have just made the Final 4, if I could have just made the Final 4, I'd have a heck of an opportunity here tonight as Kyle Lemon gets up to the outside wall there through 1. You can tell that he's struggling on those older tires. A couple of these guys that didn't take tires really struggling, but a lot of these guys through the field could have had a real shot at it, right? Obviously, Kilroe, surprise elimination out of the round of 12. Really did not expect Kilroe to go that early. He's got to be kicking himself thinking, man, look at this pace, right? He's been leading a lot of laps tonight, second place right now. He would have had a chance. Michael Thorpe Jr., I mean, he very well could have made the Final 4, got wrecked out last week, no fault of his own. All of a sudden, he's just on the outside looking in, saying, whatever, I just need a good run to end the season. I mean, there's just so many different guys throughout this field that very well could have been in this Final 4. Could have given these guys a run for their money that, you know, their season just did not go the way that they needed it to. Whenever it came down to the playoffs, and, well, whenever you have playoffs, that's just the way it happens sometimes.
Boy, this race has been a doozy so far, and it is not showing signs of letting up anytime soon. Jesse Gordon trying to fight back against Jeremiah Hobbs as going around the outside. Michael Thorpe Jr. all the way down on the inside of the racetrack, trying to seek some momentum there as well. Wyatt Walker and Nick Nickerson also still in the mix here as we're going to go 3 wide once again, headed down the back straightaway and into turn numbers 3 and 4. An aggressive dogfight that these guys are putting on here this afternoon, but what a fight so far for the championship. Jaden Hobb, by the way, currently leads the way.
Yeah, Hobb's still leading the way, but Dalton Kilroe, he's trying to at least get that race lead away, and then 1 car behind is trying to take that championship away from Hobb. The front 3 separated by just 0.6 of a second. A little bit more of Hornets' Nest further back. It's a lot of these guys on the mixed strategy all still fighting with each other. Thorpe Jr., Jesse Gordon, Nick Nickerson, and then 2 championship contenders almost making door contact down there. That's for 3rd place in the championship. 8th on the racetrack. Walker and Hobbs not leaving a lot of room between each other.
No, sir, they are not, as Jeremiah Hobbs still fighting the inside of Wyatt Walker. This is just to see who would start 2nd place in the championship. Everyone trying to fight their way up and around. You've also got a bit of 3 wide, deeper in the field here with Larry Bell, Connor Gibson, and Scott Shire headed down the back straightaway into turn numbers 3 and 4. Shire screams to the inside. They're looking for 4 wide now back here once again as Marasco's all the way up top. And it's Larry Bell who will back out from the middle. Groove Marasco up almost into the outside wall in the back.
These guys, even if they're not inside of the top 10, they just race as hard as they possibly can everywhere on this racetrack. And speaking of racing as hard as you can, Wyatt Walker and Jeremiah Hobbs still not giving each other any room whatsoever. Hobbs finally clearing, able to get the position, and actually gets one over Jesse Gordon, but so does Wyatt Walker. He's going to be able to clear Jesse coming down into turn number 3 and just flow through this middle side of the racetrack. And he's trying to get to the right rear of Jaden Hobbs again. I mean, these two will not leave each other alone.
No, they will not. I mean, these guys have been going at it the last few laps like a battering ram. And all the while in front of them, we've also got drivers like Michael Thorpe Jr. and Nick Nickerson that continue to fight it out amongst themselves as well. Everywhere you look, there are threats for the championship, right? From drivers that are not in the fight to drivers just trying to survive at this point in time. All 4 contenders within the top 10 and only separated by about 3.3 seconds from bottom to top. Trouble for straightaway. Caution's out again. Larry Bell and Marasco are back into it.
Oh, well, now I would be surprised if we saw Marasco in the top 5 at the end of the night. That was some pretty good damage for Ty there. Going to be a lot to fix that damage. Obviously, he's got that extra tire set, so you never know what the strategy. But honestly, this is that caution that a lot of those guys that didn't take a set of tires needed, right? I was saying if a caution doesn't come out, they're just screwed. But now that the yellow's out, everybody that didn't take tires under that last caution going to come down, and they're going to have a tire advantage. And it actually happened in front of Bell.
No, that was from earlier on. This was the actual incident here that brought this out. Watch Ty Marasco up top as Connor Gibson's going to track up the racetrack. Marasco comes down, clips the number 1, spins Marasco out, and Larry Bell with nowhere to go as Marasco spun down across the racetrack and a hard hit into the inside wall.
Actually, Marasco probably gets a little lucky off of that because of the contact with Larry Bell. Might have saved him a bit of damage. He might be able to get all of that stuff fixed and at least be all right with a new set of tires, but regardless, tough break for Larry Bell. That's the definition of an innocent bystander right there. Did absolutely nothing wrong, and the front end of that car is just completely destroyed.
Caution number 3 on the afternoon at about the 1/3 mark in the season finale here this afternoon. We'll take a step back, and we'll be back with more when we return to racing action on Green Flight TV. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flight TV, where we are just set to kick off racing action again. Coming to the close of caution flag number 3 this afternoon. Iverson pace car pulls down to the pit road. My name is Little Rebel alongside Austin Edstrom. Jaden Hobb jumps on the loud pedal. We're back to green, and Connor Gibson is black flag with the restart violation.
Turns 1 and 2, hop all the way to the top side of the racetrack. Ripping the fence. Able to clear completely for that race lead. Kilrow there cycling into second as Connor Gibson's going to have to serve that black flag here. And then the next couple of laps, you got 3 laps to serve it.
No, he will not. It has been cleared.
Oh, black flag got cleared. Never mind.
As of a second ago.
Yeah, that was perfect timing. As soon as I start talking about it, they say, nope, no thank you. But either way, Jaden Hop leading here. Still not a third of the way through this thing. Only working lap 47 here. Long time left for a lot of the strategies to play out again. A lot of those guys came in and took a set of tires on that last pit stop. How fast can they come through the field?
Everybody right now in lockstep as Thorpe makes a big correction to the inside. 3 wide with Kevin Foster and Sean Williams, and Foster, he's forced out from the middle. Can make that over under here through turn 4. Oh, contact as they come out of the 4th corner. Down the front straightaway, Kevin Foster gets into it a little bit as he dips 2 wheels onto the blue stuff down to the inside of the racetrack, and now he's able to try to once again regain ground and fight his way back down the back straightaway. We're 3 wide again.
Jesse Gordon just closed the door on Kyle Wellman, and then Wellman opened that door right back up and got to the outside somehow, and now he's going to make it 3 wide to the outside again. Wellman, one of those guys on the newer tires, and he is using them to his advantage on the outside, ripping around these guys. 3 wide behind him again now. Sikorsky stuck in the middle. Championship contender Wyatt Walker going around the outside. Mark Barker taking 2 for 1 as well before we get down to 1. I mean, that outside line is just absolutely moving whenever the bottom 2 lines start side drafting.
Boy, Tanner Marr really tried to find a hole right, but there was nowhere for him to go as we gathered up again out of turn number 2. Up the back stretch, 3 by 2 rows deep. Jess Gordon, Kevin Foss on the inside. Hobbs and Nickerson in the middle. And now Nickerson fades at the top as Kyle Wellman race clear. 4 wide down the front straightaway once again at Homestead-Miami Speedway for what about the 3rd time tonight. And up to the outside wall. Wellman gets up and into it. Hobbs looking for the middle groove. And they are still 3 by 3 wide.
Here comes Kyle Wellman on those new tires. He's flying, man. Those tires are absolutely moving. That 42 is coming through the field as fast as he dropped through the field last time. We need to petition iRacing for the 4 wide spotter. Give me the 4 wide call, baby. Where is it at?
Still 4 wide down the front. Now they get it back down to triples. And we're going to go 4 wide again into turn number 1. 4 wide, 3 times span of a lap. Sean Williams gets pushed out from the middle groove. We come back in around turn numbers 1 and 2. And I think finally some sense has fallen over the field. That was madness for about a lap and a half.
I gotta say, that was genius from Jeremiah Hobbs there in the center there. They got stuck 4 wide with him. Foster missed the corner a little bit, shoved a car up into Jeremiah Hobbs. Hobbs got off the gas, got onto the brake, made sure that he gave those guys an opportunity to just wash up in front of his nose before they made contact. Completely saved his race and could have saved his championship hopes. It cost him some spots. That sucks for Jeremiah Hobbs, but at least he's got the race going.
Boy, I cannot believe that worked as well as it did, right? Have you ever seen anybody at Homestead-Miami go 4 wide 3 times in the span of a lap in the same pack with different drivers and manage to break out of it clean? How about another one? We're going for it again.
How are they getting away with the 4 wide so many times? This is ridiculous. They just can't stay off of each other. Jesse Gordon somehow got put 4 wide with Foster. Foster just washed up the racetrack a little bit. He loses some ground. Ends up backing out of that 4 wide situation. I mean, this is just ridiculous how many times we've seen cars 4x4 through the field. I don't understand how we have not wrecked yet being 4 wide.
It shows the caliber of drivers in this field, right? That they're able to pull this off lap after lap after lap and manage to keep the fight going with one another. And we're going to be back down to 2 by 2, although they are already looking back for 3 as Wyatt Walker is still trapped in the fray. Dustin Payne, by the way, has managed to still remain in touch of Dalton Kilrow and Jaden Hobb. Right now, Hobb stands as the race leader and the championship leader. Ping is his closest contender, 2 spots and 5/10 back.
Yeah, but this is exactly what Dustin Ping needs to do, right? He's got himself out of the hornet's nest, right? If you're Wyatt Walker or Jeremiah Hobbs, you're stuck in the middle of all these guys just fighting and clawing and sticking it 4 wide here, sticking it 3 wide there. Oh, there's another 4 wide somewhere. And that's just, it's not conductive of keeping your car under you for the entire 150 laps. Somehow they've done it so far. But I would much rather be in the spot that Jaden Hopp or Dustin Ping are, where, you know, they're just single file, biding their own time, not back here in the Hornet's Nest.
There's option 1, and here's option 2. And, well, the majority of drivers that choose option 2 refusing to work together and just making this every man for himself. Hobbs up the racetrack. He gets up into Mark Arthur. Up into the outside wall for Tanner Marr. Marr spinning sideways. Hobbs pushes it back straight. But Tanner Marr going to drop out of the field, and he's going to have heavy damage on both sides of the race car.
Yeah, Tanner Marr's not going to be too happy about that. Getting used up by a championship contender coming down into turn 1, but we've just seen people miss turn 1 time and time again, right? We've seen people overdrive that corner and just get into the left side of another car, and I think Marr is definitely struggling with that damage. You see him get into the outside wall again, out of turn 4. Talk about a guy that has had absolutely zero luck. Poor Tanner Marr has had everything go wrong this year.
Much like Brian Dees all the way back in season number 1, along with other drivers in the MFRD crew, he just has not been able to catch a break all season long. Michael Thorpe Jr. ripping the Larson line alongside Nick Nickerson. Pulls alongside Mark Arthur, clears Mark Arthur. But he is not going to have an attack down the side of Jesse Gordon, because he and Gordon, in fact, both trying to attack Kyle Wellman.
Yeah, Wellman on those newer tires. A couple of these other guys coming through the field on newer tires as well. They've kind of stalled out at that 2-second gap to the top 3, right? Obviously, Wellman on newer tires in the top 3, but he hasn't really been able to bridge this gap further down to 1.9 to 2 seconds. I've seen it kind of hovering around that point for the last couple of laps. I wonder if that advantage from those new tires is stalled out, if he just used them up too much getting through the field too early, or if maybe these guys up in the front 3, you know, maybe another 10, 15 laps go by and their tires start wearing a little bit more and Wellman ends up having a little bit more life. We'll just have to wait and see. Currently ripping the top side of the racetrack, still 1.9 seconds off of the race lead. As actually that race lead's closing up a little bit. Kilrow 0.2 of a second back. Payne had got it down to 4.5 there through 1 and 2. I think these guys in second and third still just kind of biding their time, waiting to use their tire up until the end of this run.
Jaden Hobb continues to try and put the pressure on alongside Dalton Kilrow and Dustin Ping. Behind Jesse Gordon with a big send to the inside of Kyle Wellman, trying to pull the slider here. Slides across the nose, gives Wellman a sniff of the draft, clears. Can you maintain now as Wellman have a good drive down the back straightaway, but Wellman will not go on the attack. Jesse Gordon has 4th.
Gordon continuing to move up the field. He started a little bit further back on this stint as well, able to get through a lot of these guys. Now be the first challenger to your front 3, but again, you know, I said Wellman had stalled at that 1.9. I thought, you know, those newer tires would keep him going up towards the front, but just stalled out, unable to use the advantage anymore. Likely just warm out on the top side of the racetrack a little too early on this stint. Side by side behind these guys, though. Mark Arthur and Nick Nickerson.
Oh, boy.
Man, Wyatt Walker went for the over-under on Kevin Foster there out of turn 2 and just about wrecked him.
Jeez, that got a little bit dicey there, coming out of turn number 4. Right on board with Walker. This is what he saw as he was headed down to that straightaway. We'll get the extended cut of this one as he just passed Kevin Foster down on the outside. And watch, Foster's going to clear across the nose. Talk about misjudging, nearly costing both drivers dearly.
Well, you know, Foster actually left him the lane. That's the thing. Foster left him the lane. Wyatt didn't think he was going to leave him the lane, so Wyatt went for the over-under, but Foster was actually holding the bottom side of the racetrack coming off that corner to give the space to Wyatt. So it honestly comes down to just a little bit of miscommunication, bit of a weird moment between the two. But how about up towards the front? Dustin Payne, championship contender. He's gotten into a battle with Dalton Kilrow, and now he's moved himself up to second on the racetrack, as he was already second in the championship. Now they've lost some time to Jaden Hunt because of that battle, but can he reel that back down and challenge Top for the championship lead here as we near halfway?
Well, that's the issue. The gap's over a second right now. That's going to be a pretty hard gap to run down. He's got to first tuck back into the slip shimmer right now. He is not able to do that. Oh, hold on. Nick Nickerson sideways. Out of turn 4, again able to gather her up, only just. Kyle Wellman ripping the outside fence this time. Marasco. Mark Arthur in the fray of this as well as he cuts down onto the low side, and already we are approaching the halfway point of racing action here this afternoon, Austin.
Yeah, I feel like it's weird. I feel like it's gone by a little bit slower than most weeks, right? We're not quite at that halfway point, but at the same point, there's been so much action out on the racetrack. It's not.
Well, and to be fair,
like
normally we would pretty much be at the halfway point right about now.
It is a little bit longer of a race this week than normal, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly.
That would make it. Yeah, so that's fair enough. But nonetheless, I mean, it's been a fantastic race so far. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, how many times did we see these guys 4 wide? We were in the first 60 laps of the race. That is a ton of aggression for the early going. Now, at this point, we're starting to see that field spread, right? We're starting to see those tire differences come in and really see who's good on the long run. How about Jaden Hopp, right? Those 2 guys behind him were in the draft. They were able to, keep with Jaden Hopp because of the draft for a long, long time there without using their tires up as much, or at least that's what you would expect if they ran a different line than him. But now that we've gotten to the late run on those tires, Hopp has stretched this lead out to 2 seconds all of a sudden. I mean, he was only 0.2 of a second ahead of Kilroe 10 laps ago, and he has just completely ran away from Ping and Dalton.
Yeah, Jaden Hopp has been on a tear these last 10 laps or so, and he has been able to really open up that gap. And you know what? You want to know what really helped him with that? The second Dustin Payne's had Dalton Kilroe. That slowed both cars down, and by the time they got single file, he had broken the draft. And now that the draft are running back down, we start to see the true pace disparity between the two. And it doesn't help that Ping is under fire. They are continuing to only battle for second and not thinking big picture for the end of the race.
It's tough. It's tough balance, prioritizing speed now over speed later, or trying to make sure that your tires can make it, to a certain distance. You just never know whenever those cautions are going to come out. You're in the middle of this championship battle, trying to get everything you possibly can. Ping there for a moment looked like he was just rapid, super, super quick, able to, pass Kilroe. Looked like he was gonna. Oh, Jesse Gordon over under on Kilroe. Tight battle for second, but now Ping has lost those 2 positions all of a sudden. Right, he's worn off those tires in that battle with Kilroe. And now both these guys have lost that second position to Jesse Gordon. How about the driver at the 69 absolutely flying through the field?
Jesse Gordon. See, oh, man, Kilroe. A bit of a tank slapper coming out of turn 4. And down the front, you've got Ethan Sikorsky, Tanamar, and more, all still very much under a tight-knit blanket and trying to make attacks for spots. Tanamar pushing up to the inside of Kevin Foster. He clears, as does Wyatt Walker. And we'll be 6 laps to halfway at the line. You mentioned this race feeling a little bit slower, Austin. It's worth noting this race. Oh, hold on. Dalton Kilroe with a big slide into pit road. And Dustin Ping. What's happened to Ping? Ping is way back now. He's dropped back to 8th.
That had to have been a missed pit stop, right? Had to have been. For him to lose that much time, he was only 2 to 3 seconds off your race leader a moment ago. Now he's 6. That's got to be a missed.
Take a look.
Or having to check up for Kilroe. I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, Kilroe tried to come to pit road. Ping. Ping tried to come in as well, and he missed it.
Kilroe got absolutely everything out of that entry, didn't he? Oh,
yes, he did. Watch Dalton Kilroe on the way in here as Michael Ashmore has gone around as well. And Kilroe really attacking pit entry. 4-tire lockup. He's able to gather it up, and this is what happened to Ashmore seconds ago.
This is honestly a caution that Dustin Ping would have loved to have seen here from the 98. Coming out of turn 2. Hardware failure? Almost like his...
Probably, yeah. Looks like it. Pulled it down onto the apron, so no issues. No harm, no foul for him. Nick Kirsten is down pit road. David Lakey is in just behind. Everyone else situated out here on the racetrack. Michael Asher with a black flag for restart violation. Wyatt Walker hits pit road.
Wyatt trying to get down as safe as he possibly can while he's in the middle of a hornet's nest. Kilrow trying to get through that same nest on the newer tires without losing as much time. He's going to be stuck on the bottom here, though, coming out of turn 2. Can he get down to the bottom here of Hobbs? Looks like he's going to be able to. At least coming down into 3. He should have an opportunity to continue this momentum. As long as Hobbs or Foster doesn't chop his nose off. Coming down into the corner. Looks like Hobbs is going to pick the bottom, but giving up room for Kilrow here on the newer tires to be able to flow through. Hobbs currently the highest of your championship runners as Jaden Hoff is coming out of pit road right now. He's on the access road down on the bottom of the racetrack. Who gets out first? Is it going to be Hop or Kilrow? Kilrow coming through 1 and 2 as Hop is coming up the access road. And yeah, like you said, not even close. Even though Kilrow has, 2, 3, 4 lap fresher tires and had that ridiculously aggressive pit entry, Hop has just been so fast.
He got caught up in a lot of that traffic, though. He came, look at all the cars he had to fight around here. He exited pit road in quite literally the worst possible place on the racetrack that he could have, right behind this battle pack. That is what costed him so much time up to Jaden Hobb, who now has a fresh tire advantage to boot.
Yeah, with Hop having that lead and the tire advantage, it's gonna be tough. These guys are absolutely gonna need a yellow at some point, but also the battle for the race win, not decided, right? Gordon had done a great job catching these guys. He's on an alternate tire strategy because he took tires later than the rest of these guys did, so maybe he can stay out here for another 5, 10, 15 laps and maybe cut a pit stop out of this thing or try some type of different strategy than those guys were doing. Same goes for Ty Marasco, Ryan Philbrick, Kyle Wellman. We're all on a bit of a different strategy, so we'll just have to wait and see how that strategy plays out. And, that yellow flag could come out at some point, too, and screw this whole thing up as, Hop is a lap down right now. He'd have to take the lucky dog, and that could completely turn this race on its head.
Halfway home this afternoon, 75 laps. It'll be 74 laps to go here when they get back to the start-finish line. Ryan Philbrick will make his way down pit road. Tanner Marr in the mix up on the outside line. You've got Philbrick and co. doing their best to try and keep things sorted as well. Michael Thorpe Jr. all the way up to the outside line. And this battle of the one to watch. There you see Dustin Pink fighting his way through on fresh rubber. And boy, he kind of got caught a little bit by the 0-6 there, nearly got hemmed in by Sikorsky.
So Bing now down on the bottom here, trying to pick up some of these cars that had lapped him after coming down pit road. Obviously Ping missing pit road the first time by, having to come back, do it all over again. Still currently 3rd place in the running order of the championship 4, 1 lap down. The first of the championship 4, 1 lap down, but he is not the first car on racetrack 1 lap down, so if yellow comes out, he will not get the lucky dog at this point. So Ping going to be doing everything he can to get up here, try to unlap himself on Jesse Gordon as fast as he possibly can. Problem is, Jesse Gordon, middle of the back straightaway right now. Ping still out of turn 2 just now, I believe. So a bit of ground that he still has to make up.
Stated lights you can see have flicked on here over the Homestead-Miami Speedway, making this officially a night race. We'll be finishing racing action tonight under the cover of darkness as the sun begins to set on the west side of the racetrack behind the grandstands. Sunlight no longer bound to be a factor for drivers and their vision here this afternoon. That could cause the aggression to turn up a little bit more as well, right? Now that you don't got to worry about your sight lines being obstructed.
Yeah, a big problem at the Homestead-Miami Speedway is coming down into turn number 1 with the setting sun, right? We've heard about it in real life tons of times. I've seen it on the sim plenty of times as well. You come down to the turn number 1, if the sun is just the perfectly wrong spot on its trip behind the wall of the exit of that corner, or sorry, the entry of that corner, and then it just completely blinds you. Coming down to the corner, you can't see your you can't see your braking moment marker, you can't see your turn-in point. You're just kind of half-guessing as you're coming down to that corner, especially whenever you're around a bunch of different cars. I think that could be where we saw a lot of that contact from those 4 wide issues earlier, 4 wide and blind. is typically not a good combination. I think we saw that just about play out poorly a couple times earlier, but like you said, that sun now just about behind the wall should be no problem whatsoever for these guys from here on out, with the lights now flickered on these stadium lights.
Jesse Gordon still is yet to pit from the lead. Other drivers that have yet to pit include Kyle Wellman, Jeremiah Hobbs, Mark Arthur, Ethan Skorsky, Foster, Gibson, and Barry. They have been staying out hoping for a caution flag, and well, doesn't look like that yellow flag will be coming their way. So one by one, drivers having to consider bailing out and making those trips to pit road. But a lot of them are sticking with it. They really want to try and hold out as long as they can.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy is just being different, right? Like I said, Jesse Gordon had a little bit newer tires than Hop did before they came down pit road. Maybe they could stretch this thing to a one-stop from that point. I know we're on 80% fuel load, so just, you know, maybe, just maybe they could stretch this thing to be a one-stop while guys like Hop and Kilrow and Bing have to come down 2 times. I imagine that might be what a guy like Jesse Gordon's going for right now. I'm going to hop on the onboard, see if maybe I hear any fuel saving at all coming down into the corners. Try to get an idea exactly what's going on with a guy like Jesse Gordon.
Nope, no fuel saving going on, at least down in the zone 3.
No, not at all. So I don't know. Maybe he's not stretching for that one stop. No, he's definitely not. He's coming down the pit road. So,
that was quick.
Yeah, that proved me wrong real quick. I appreciate that one, Jesse. Thank you.
You should know better than to try to gamble like that.
Yeah, you're probably not going to be fuel saving whenever you're coming down that lap, so I guess that does make sense. Okay, well, maybe he's trying to 2-stop and hop past the 3-stop.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
I'm just giving myself resources at this point. Just play along.
Connor Gibson and Bob Berry make their way into pit road. Jeremiah Hobbs remains on the racetrack for one more, really trying to push this stint long. But with him approaching lap 60 of this stint, he's going to be hard-pressed to be able to make it the rest of the way here to the end of this one. He would have to make it about another 4 or 5 laps in order to cut out the final stop of the night.
Still a long ways to go in this one. Really, still 64 laps to go as Tom Marasco comes across that line. A lot of opportunity for some craziness, and obviously Hobbs trying something a little bit different too, right? He's pushing the stint longer, 6.2 seconds behind Ty Marasco, currently your leader in the championship. He's trying something, trying to get, you know, trying to flip ahead of Jaden Hop on strategy. And you know what, I like the call, I like the opportunity, or you know, if you don't have quite the speed of Jaden Hop, go out there and try something radical to beat him. This is the one race that you could possibly win a championship on. You've done everything right to get here. Sikorsky just about lost it coming down to pit road. Able to hang on to it, so good job nonetheless. But for Hobbs, I like this, right? You know, try the strategy a little bit different. I'm not trying to hate on him. He was running about, you know, 8th to 10th beforehand, fighting with Wyatt Walker like crazy and a couple of these other guys. So at that point, you kind of know, hey, I don't have race-winning speed. Let me do something radical. Let me do something crazy. I just got to throw a Hail Mary and see if I can win this championship. I love it. I love it from the driver of the 3 here. Great call.
Let's take a quick rundown of how the championship situation currently looks with the final 4 contenders here. Right now, Jeremiah Hobbs technically leading the championship, but he's yet to come down pit road, and we are expecting to see him down any lap now. That will cycle Jaden Hop through into the championship lead. Right now, Jaden Hop is the net race leader here as well, and is only about 20 seconds behind Jeremiah Hobbs on the racetrack. The next close contender would be Dustin Ping, right now 3rd in the championship, although that is slated to be 2nd. He is a good almost 10 seconds now behind Jaden Hop, and then of course Wyatt Walker way back in the field just by a few more seconds, set to be about 3rd or even last in the championship by the time Jeremiah Hobbs comes down pit road, which he just has, and Walker also in no position to contest Jaden Hopp for the championship. Right now, this is Hopp's championship to lose unless something dramatic happens at the closing stage. Or, well, what season has that not happened in the high type racing league? What race did that not happen in this season?
Say, it sounds like you're trying to jinx my good friend Jaden Hopp here.
No, absolutely.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. Are you tired of seeing the 00 win? Because it sounds like you're tired of seeing the 00
absolutely
win.
not.
What? I don't know. That sounded a little sarcastic.
You sound like Wade Barrett.
I look. Whenever I get playoffs, I don't know who that is. Whenever
You don't watch WWE, really? I thought of all people,
I actually
you
just
would watch
started watching WWE this year. But I
Okay,
don't know
well,
who that is.
he's one of the commentators on SmackDown. He's the heel commentator.
Oh, I literally only watch Raw and the PLEs
there
at
you
this, or right now. So I'm like just dipping my toes in. So that makes sense. But
Well, watch SmackDown.
now I'm gonna have to look him up to
SmackDown's
see.
good. They had a good show this last Friday.
I'll have to check it out, and it's on normal TV too. So
It's just as important. Let me put it that way. But yeah, WWE aside, we should watch sometime. We really should. We should. Heck, Monday Night Raw. I mean, it was on right now. I'll hit you up afterwards. Let's put it that way.
You want to split screen it? Yeah, we can do like the double box that they do
No.
whenever they do a commercial. You
Yeah.
can double box the championship and WWE on here.
I don't think the TV networks will like that.
Oh, it's
the
Netflix. It's
problem.
okay.
Well, I don't think Netflix will like that, and I like my Netflix subscription. I'd rather keep it, just a thought.
You can use mine,
I
so they'll ban me instead.
okay.
I'm just kidding, but nonetheless,
Of course.
whenever we were talking about Jaden Hopp and how you're tired of him winning races,
I'm not tired of a winning race. Get out of here.
for me, whenever I go through a season of NASCAR and I see a guy dominate, and then we get down to the playoffs and he only has a 25% chance to win the championship in the last race, I get a little mad. I get a little frustrated. I get a little ticked off. So, for me, I would like to see Jeremiah Hopp win, personally, and, I know that's favoritism, but, man, that's not, like, because I'm a Hopp fan. That's because I want to see the dominant driver win the championship.
I am sure.
This season has been Hopp.
I'm actually sure there are definitely some algorithms somewhere that you can write up to really accurately write out who would be the most likely to win the championship right now, right? What on a percentage scale, what to do with MLB, right? With the StatCast and all that, on how much you're likely to win a title. I'm sure there's some way to write that up, but we don't have.
There's so many variables in racing that I don't know if you can really get a 100% accurate count, because it's like, okay, you got to add in, what are the odds that a caution comes out? Because if a caution doesn't come out, Jaden Hopp's win percentage is 99.9% right now, because he's got a huge lead, and I don't expect him to make any mistakes, but I leave a 0.1% in there for a mistake, right? But
yeah, well, you don't have to factor in
chance of a caution, and then he needs something to go wrong after the caution to actually lose the lead. So I don't know. There's just a lot of variables.
Well, you also have to factor in, right? Is he losing time in the cars behind? Is he gaining time in the cars behind? One driver that unfortunately is not gaining this Wyatt Walker. Try as he may. He's to the outside, and oh boy, just clobbered the outside wall to try to get out of Sean Williams. That didn't work out for him. Williams, in fact, was able to pick him off as he's going to fight with Ty Marasco down to the inside line. Sean Williams up top.
Bristol line right there.
Yes, sir.
He tried it. He tried that wall bang to get him that position. Eventually, it ends up working out for him as he gets by Sean Williams.
It works. It's frowned upon, but it worked. Wyatt Walker will secure third place for the time being. Jeremiah Hobbs up to 13th, but 21.2 seconds back. He's going to do a miracle, but again, look what happened to Dustin Ping and how he won his Season 2 championship. Quite a few cautions in the opening 50 laps. In the 50 that followed, it's been pretty much caution-free for the last 60, 70 laps or so. These guys putting in the work, putting in a long green flag run and making sure that we get to enjoy check out some of the great racing action all throughout Homestead-Miami Speedway this afternoon as we continue to go racing into the darkness.
Yeah, we're nearing that 2/3 mark here, coming up to lap 100 out of 150, and man, the story of this race has very much been the story of the season, right? We were talking about it just a minute ago. Jaden Hopp, Mr. Dominator, Mr. I'm going to be up front, Mr. I'm going to lead every single lap, Mr. I'm going to win half the races, Mr. I'm going to be up here and you're not going to be able to do a thing about it. It's the same exact thing tonight. I mean, Hopp is just, he's been in a league of his own, right? There's been contenders here, contender there, like there has in the season. There's been, random moments whenever somebody else wins a race. I say random moments. It's been a little bit more frequently than that. But Hopp has been the dominator. He's been that guy, and tonight it's been the exact same story. In the early run, it seems like a couple guys have very similar pace as him and could potentially beat him on a short run. A 5, 10, 15 lap run is Jesse Gordon way down to the bottom here coming out of turn 4. But man, as soon as that long run gets there, as soon as they get 25 laps on the tires, that 0-0 just takes off, and there is nobody that can keep up with him in the field. I mean, his long run pace all season long has just been ridiculous.
Season 5 is set to kick off on November 3rd, about a month and a week or two from tonight. And as far as we know so far, Green Flag TV will be back to cover every single second from the green flag in the Sunshine State of Daytona all the way to the season finale at season's end, wherever that may be. Of course, it's not the only thing we got coming on up, right? Quite a few new leagues, in fact, have joined the roster as of late. One of those being the Mid-Atlantic Racing Series. Mars will be back for more action tomorrow night. That will be on Tuesday afternoon. They are going to be racing out at the Kansas Speedway. And another new league coming to the roster here, Austin. It's the Zero Torque Racing League, which will be filling up our Friday nights now, as they'll be kicking off their season with the Clash at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. A 100-lap sprint at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Friday night. Make sure to be there or be square. Of course, a lot more news in recent times. Of course, we got the Premier Pilot Series coming on up. That'll be starting in late October as well. A lot of seasons might be closing things on down for the season. I know a lot of North American racing series are entering their off seasons, but man, online season, this is prime time for us.
I was about to say, you get down to the winter, right, and you kind of, well, at least for me, I get a little depressed because all my race cars stop racing, and it gets a little sad because all the engines just stop making noise. But then you get on iRacing, and you're like, you know what, there's a little bit of something to fill the void. You get these leagues running every single night, especially on Green Flag TV. Thank you very much, Nolan, who likes to just absolutely flood the schedule on our YouTube channel. I'm not complaining. It sounds like I am, but I'm not complaining. But I love it, man. I love it. It just gives me so much more to watch throughout the winter. And obviously, you've tried to put me on Flow Racing a couple times. I don't have the money to spend on that, I'll be honest. So I get on your YouTube channel and I watch leagues instead on iRacing, and that's fantastic because it's free for me, makes you a little bit of money, and it just kind of works out a little bit. And like I said, I get a little depressed in the winter. There's no race cars, but then I turn on your YouTube channel and I at least get some virtual race cars, and that's I can live with that for a couple months. Yeah, for a couple months. I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Plenty of action still yet to go here this afternoon, as several drivers are going to be in it to battle this one out to the end of the race. We'll take a quick step and be back with more in just a moment here on Green Flag TV for the final 40 laps. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Green Flag TV, where we are entering the final laps of the season here this afternoon. It is 37 laps to go, and you're watching Paul's Night Shift 150, the season finale of the High Time Racing League Guardian Premier Series. My name is Ola Rempel, alongside Austin Escher. We bring you all of racing action from start to finish here this afternoon. Coming up on Green Flag TV as we'll get back to that in a moment as major championship implications. Wyatt Walker slapped the inside wall. He's done.
Oh.
Look at the left front. It's torn up.
He's just trying to get this car off the racetrack to not bring out a yellow flag. Like you said, the 71 is completely done and dusted. That left front tire is completely off of that thing, just dragging. He's going to bring it down to pit road. He's going to stop at his pit box, and it's going to say too much damage. We're done. So that is going to be it. The championship hopes for the underdog, the driver, the number 77, Wyatt Walker. It's going to be all done and dusted right here as your race leader and championship leader of Jaden Hoff is coming down pit road.
That is unbelievable that it comes to an end like that for Wyatt Walker. Take a look. And this is how it happened. Well, that's after the fact already. We'll back this up a little bit more. Oh, man, even in turn 4.
Oh, my goodness.
He didn't hit the inside wall. Yeah, what the heck? He didn't hit the inside wall coming out of turn number 4, so where did this happen at? Here we go. Watch this here. Oh, no!
Oh, he's trying to get to pit road.
Oh, Kevin Foster ran into the side. I've never seen that in my life.
I can't believe that ripped off the wheel. I mean, you have a bit of netcode contact, and it does more damage than it's supposed to, so I think that's kind of what we got there, but regardless, I feel terrible for Walker. I mean, he's just trying to come down pit road, and I mean, Foster just clearly didn't know that Wyatt was coming down, and honestly, Wyatt left the bottom side of the racetrack, right? If you're coming down pit road, you want to stay all the way by the white line, make it as obvious as possible, and there he did drift up, so, you know, I think Foster's just thinking, okay, I'm going to make it 3 wide and try to get this position on the bottom of the racetrack, but obviously Walker was slowing down. Foster had no idea. They make, honestly, not as big a contact as you would expect to be able to tear the left front tire completely off the car, but at the end of the day, it did.
Sean Williams and Ryan Philbrick are both down pit road as of right now. So pit stops are underway for the final time here this afternoon. The only drivers that might be safe might be Scott Shire, Jeremiah Hobbs, if they can pull it off, but I doubt they will. Sean Williams just now leaving pit road. Coming up on Green Flag TV, we already talked about Mars, right? They are out at Kansas tomorrow night alongside the OMSRL Gold Series at the Action Track. The Richmond Raceway hosts Tuesday night action for 200 laps. Then it's the Premier Sim Racing the Premier Sim Racing Outlaw Motorsports Truck Series. That'll be at Kansas Speedway on Wednesday night, alongside the Speed Cup Series, making it a Kansas triple header this week. 3 Kansas races in 3 days. Speed will also take to one of NASCAR's most dangerous mile and a halves. Then, of course, the Zero Torque Racing League not shown here, but it is going to be on Friday night at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. The SRA Gen 40 Series is out at Michigan, and doubleheaders on Sunday night. The Classic IndyCar Series is out at the Long Beach Street Circuit alongside the Blaze Brothers ARCA Series at Bristol Motor Speedway for a 300-lapper later on that afternoon. So, Austin, plenty of action still yet to come, and it looks like it's Kansas week on Green Flag TV.
Good. I love Kansas. You kidding me? It's like a more traditionally shaped Homestead because it's got that progressive banking. It's got the ability to use multiple grooves through the corner. And honestly, it keeps cars a little bit closer than Homestead does, right? We mentioned the tire wear at Homestead. I think Kansas is a little bit more of a drafty track for the ARCA car than Homestead will end up being. So, well, it is the ARCA car in that, right?
No, it's B-class cars.
Okay. Oh, honestly, that's even more fun. I like that. I might have to compete.
For, yeah, well, let me rephrase. For the truck series, it's trucks, obviously. And then I believe Mars is running B-class cars, as and then Speed is running Gen 7 cars. So no one's running ARCA.
Oh. Dang. I like the ARCA cars at Kansas. Either way, I think Kansas is one of the best tracks on the circuit as Jesse Gordon's coming down. Doesn't matter what car you're going to put at Kansas, I think it's going to be a good show. So I would definitely look forward to that. Everybody here, obviously, this is Kansas week on iRacing on the leagues and off of the leagues. So you're going to see a lot of Kansas across a lot of broadcasters as we lead up to the NASCAR series actually going there this weekend. So obviously you get a lot of... Oh, no. Was that Sathmary?
Yeah, Paul Sathmary has careened into the pit attenuator and has been popped for a meatball flag. At speed, jamming on the binders into hard, losing control and slam. Not the pit attenuator. He knows he lost control and knows it straight into the inside wall that normally is for the road course.
Hey, just as soon as he came off the banking, you could see the back end tires just never grip back up, right? He just never had control of that thing after the car got down on the apron.
That's not loss of control. That's a hardware failure. He didn't lose control, but it sounded like he was kind of on the brakes and the throttle simultaneously going into that wall. I think his wheel came off.
A bit of bad luck out here tonight. Somehow all of it has not brought out a caution to throw this race on its head.
Confirmation, it was a screen freeze.
Oh, well, honestly, great job from him getting off the racetrack the way he did, because that could have wrecked a lot of cars. You're screen freezing in the middle of that. So, honestly, great job, Paul. That could have been a lot worse, dude. But nonetheless, a little bit of a shake-up at the front because of the pit stops. Hobbs has not come down for what we think would be his final pit stop. I think he's still got one more pit stop to go. He's got a second lead over Jaden Hobbs for the championship right now. I got to imagine Jeremiah Hobbs is hoping and praying for a yellow within the next couple of laps to kind of get himself on the same strategy as Hopp with a short run to fight for this championship. A caution right now would throw this entire thing on its head and give Ping and Hobbs an opportunity to swipe this thing away.
Clarification as well, right? Even if Jeremiah Hobbs is saving fuel, which it doesn't sound like he is, it wouldn't matter, right? Jaden Hopp would still get around him, and he still wouldn't be able to make that time back up with a late race pit stop, right? So, because Jaden Hopp has pitted 10 laps ago, he can go the distance. There's no doubt about that. The only question is, can Jeremiah Hobbs go to the end? But unless he gets a caution, quite literally in the next 15, 20 seconds or so, he's going to be on the back foot.
Yeah, side by side for the race lead. 24 laps to go. It's not even going to be a challenge because Hobbs just doesn't have the tires to be able to put up a fight. But again, that's not the strategy for Hopp right now. For Hobbs. He wants a yellow. He wants to be able to come down, be close to Jaden Hopp, come down pit road with Jaden Hopp, and then just come out side by side, start on the same row as him, and just have an opportunity to beat him heads up on the short run. So Hobbs, I gotta imagine, is gonna just be crossing his finger, crossing his toes, crossing anything he could possibly cross to get this caution flag to come out.
You know, we've talked a lot about the Final Four of this race. I almost want to talk about who are the drivers to watch going into next season, right? Because there are a good number of them. Of course, Dalton Kilroe, expect to see him back with the vengeance. He was odds on one of the best cars of the regular series season. Another driver that falls into that category, though, actually, believe it or not, in my opinion, Nicholas Coruscant. Coruscant was on it throughout a bunch of the regular series season. Didn't have a lot of wins to show for it, right? But he had the consistency. Coruscant's got the ability to be up there in racing. And, of course, another big one for me, Michael Thorpe Jr., right? I mean, he deserves to be in the Final Four, and it's just more bad luck that fell his way every single time it came about.
And yeah, that's the story for a lot of these guys, right? I mean, you mentioned Thorpe. I mean, I don't know. I know I said Tanner Barr's probably the most unlucky I've seen this season. But out of the guys that I felt like could have won the championship, I feel like that honor goes to Michael Thorpe Jr. I mean, this 34 has been quick. Every single place that we've gone, every track that we've gone to, Michael Thorpe Jr. has been one of the quickest guys out on the racetrack. But for whatever reason, that poor 34 cannot keep all four fenders and all four tires on it for the entire race. And most of the time, it's not his fault. I mean, honestly, I don't know if I can remember one time in my head this season it was his fault. And yet that 34 has been destroyed more times than I can count. It's just, you know, one of those seasons, right? A season to forget for Michael Thorpe Jr. And I hope he comes back next season even stronger, because I know the speed that Thorpe Jr. has. I know the pace. I know the talent. He's what should be a future champion of this series. Could have been a champion by now. He just hasn't had the luck go his way.
Now, one other driver that I think we could kind of almost compare to Jaden Hopp in a way on how hotly anticipated his return might be, Jesse Gordon, right? Came into this season late in the back half of the championship, and he's been making a lot of waves. He didn't make the playoffs, but this is a car that's been up there in the top 5 almost every single race. If he's here regularly next season, Jesse Gordon could also be a major title threat going into season number 5.
Yeah, and there are a bunch of different variables that change season to season, right? I mean, obviously, you go to different tracks. You could change the playoff format a little bit. You change the car that you run most seasons in most leagues. So, you know, if you're a guy like Jesse Gordon, you said he's only showed up, you know, a handful of times this season, but every time that I've seen that 69, he's been pretty daggum quick, right? He's been a fringe top 5 car, if not a solid in the top 5, right? Or solidly in the top 5. So, next season, depending on what car we're running, I'm looking forward to seeing Jesse Gordon, right? We got like a month and a half off before the next season starts here for High Tide, and I think Jesse Gordon very well could be a championship contender if he decides to show up every single week.
A few drivers are getting caught up in battle. This is a pretty fierce 4-way fight now that's picking up for 6th. Kevin Foster, Dustin Payne, Michael Thorpe Jr., Ryan Philbrick. All 4 cars on screen are for position for the first spot outside of the top 5, and now make that the last spot inside the top 5, and they're going at it with wildly different tire strategies across the board.
You know, all these guys fighting, trying different lanes. Everybody's car's fighting a little bit different. Some of these guys fighting a little tight, some fighting a little loose. Thorpe Jr. going to go to the middle here, 3 wide, as Payne clears all 3 of them. Philbrick to the outside, Kevin Foster down to the bottom. Dustin Payne ripping the fence on the outside of 3 and 4 here, trying to make sure that he can clear all these guys. He was clear before the corner. Foster dives it in deep into turn 3. Somehow stays side by side with Payne as they come out of the corner. Oh, 3 wide again.
Oh, boy.
Into the middle, and that top side's just going to keep rolling. Philbrick down to the bottom now on Payne as we come down to 1. He's just going to dive it on in there and try to take the spot.
Philbrick makes the move. Kevin Foster trying to follow through. Dustin Payne's going to have a little bit of a run on the top side down the back straightaway. They're coming around to 15 laps to go. This time by at the line. Michael Thorpe Jr. now looking for the inside. This year, the battle to see who will finish. Well, I was going to say who will finish second in the championship, but that would go the way of Dustin Payne, right? His next closest contender is actually Jeremiah Hobbs, who is all the way back now in 17th place and 1 lap down. 14 to go with the line, and Thorpe continues to battle it out with the Season 2 champ.
Yeah, but these guys going at it, fighting for the 6th place spot. Trying to do whatever they can, just get whatever positions they can. Obviously, Dustin Payne's thinking, man, I would just love a yellow flag to come out right now. I would love it. I'd love to come down, take 4 tires, have a short run on this thing, and just at least give himself an opportunity to go up there and get Hop. for this championship, but it looks like Dustin Payne is just going to come up one spot short in terms of the championship. Obviously 5 or 6 on the racetrack, it looks like, but a good season from Payne, right? A lot of other guys in the series that we talked about that we said very well could have been championship 4 contenders, very well could have been contenders to win the championship tonight, didn't even make this race, right? Dalton Kilrow, Benjamin Lacey couldn't make it tonight. Aaron Smith had a great season, but he missed so many races. A couple other MFRD guys, right? Ryan D's got eliminated in the first round, and he's had terrible luck. Michael Thorpe Jr.'s had ridiculous luck all season long. And a guy that's been there to kind of pick up the pieces is Payne, right? He's the guy that hasn't gotten caught up in so much stuff. He's had his moments, he's had his issues where he has gotten, beaten and banged around, but ultimately, he's been more consistent than the rest of them, been able to keep that number 81 car on the racetrack more times than not, got himself into this Final Four, and gonna get himself a pretty solid second place finish in the championship. Is it what he wanted? No, he wanted to come in here tonight and win that championship. But you know what? You come into the season, and if you're told, hey, you're going to finish second in the championship to a guy that won 8, 9 races, you'd probably say, all right, I'll take it.
Now, on the subject of, on the subject here of what-if scenarios, right? If Benjamin Lacey is here tonight, does that change Jaden Hopp's chances of winning the championship in that 12-second gap?
Well,
would Lacey be out there with him?
I think that Lacey is one of the better long-run cars, one of the better long-run drivers in this league, I got to say, especially in the mile and a halves. I think that's typically his bread and butter, and you saw it last week in Atlanta, right? He was really good on the long run at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But, we didn't have Jaden Hopp last week. So, I don't know for sure if, we can't really test that against anything on the old wear. And I can't remember on the first Homestead race whether Benjamin Lacey was here or not, in all seriousness. I remember Hopp being one of the 3 guys that I remember dominating that thing. I cannot remember if Lacey was even in the race. Do I think that he would be faster than Payne? Or at least higher than 7th? Yes. I don't think that he would be more than 7 seconds behind Jaden Hopp, though. From what I remember the last time we were at Homestead, and obviously what we've seen so far tonight, Hopp just has this place figured out. He has got this car figured out on the long run really, really well with this racetrack. The pace that he's got late in the stint is just nothing short of miraculous. I mean, last lap, let's see, he ran a 33.26. His closest competitor is Kelro, who ran a 33.498, and he's in second place, 12 seconds back. So that's just how good Jaden Hopp has been tonight and all season long. I think Lacey would be doing good, but I think it would probably be the same story I was telling you earlier, where these guys are going to need a late race caution and have that kind of short run opportunity to try to throw something at Jaden, but it doesn't look like that's going to come to pass.
Jaden Hopp, right now, also set to become just the 3rd driver in league history to achieve double digits in the win column in terms of career-wide stats, with an over 30% win rate, which is virtually unheard of in league races for people that are here on the regular, right? So Jaden Hopp really showing just what it means to be a fast driver in this league. That would tie him for second with Aaron Smith and put him only 4 behind breaking the record of 13 that Benjamin Lacey currently holds. There's a serious chance that we're going to see officially, for the first time in HTRL history, a new record holder for most wins in a single career.
It's just been a heck of a season. Storybook, record book season for Jaden Hopp. I mean, what an incredible job. Now, it's not quite over. 5.5 laps left, 4.5 until the white flag. If you're Jaden Hopp, you're just thinking, please, 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 nobody get sideways, nobody spin out, nobody have any type of issue. I don't see it happening right now. I think everybody's minding their P's and Q's and doing all right. But I can tell you right now, Jaden Hopp, that's the one thing he's worried about, is if that yellow flag comes out.
Five laps to go. It'll be 4. No, it will be 5 to go here. Coming back around as Michael Thorpe Jr., Ryan Philbrick, and more continue their dogfight for the last spot inside the top 5. It's Korsky and Tanamar also side by side right now for 11th place on the racetrack. This battle for 5th started to catch some lap traffic in the form of Ethan Sikorsky up the road. It'll be 4 to go this time by.
4 to go for one of the most impressive championship runs we've seen out of a driver here in the HTRL Guardian Premier Series. I mean, what a job from Jayden Hopp. Michael Thorpe Jr. here trying to hang on to his top 5 position. Ryan Bilbrick, that's a name that we're going to have to watch out for next season. Almost got his first win last week. Looks like he's going to follow it up potentially with a top 5 tonight. If not, it looks like a 6th place finish. What a job from that 062. I think that's a name that we're going to really have to watch out for next season here in the HTRL Guardian Premier Series. Bilbrick's shown some speed in multiple weeks. Give him a month and a half, 2 months off to kind of work on his craft, figure out whatever car we're going to in 2 months, and you very well could see Ryan Bilbrick get his first W here in the league.
Oh, here we go.
As he's still battling Thorpe. He's got that run, man.
He's got to run, but he doesn't go for it, interesting enough. I think he's waiting for that. Never mind. He's going to wait for the outside lane to open up, trying to get a run going up around the top with 2 laps to go this time by at the line. Phil, we're going to try to look for the inside of Thorpe here. Surely, no, he lifts. He's trying to wait for the final lap.
I think he's trying to get that outside line rolling. If he can get the right rear quarter panel, you've got a much better opportunity to complete the pass than doing it on the bottom. He just can't hold on to the right rear on the exit of the corner. Thorpe Jr. just enough tire under him, just able to get the throttle down enough to be able to keep the 34 ahead of the 06. But it looks like the 00 of Jayden Hopp has just taken the white flag. Jayden Hopp gonna be your champion this season, it looks like, unless something catastrophic happens in 3 and 4.
Jayden Hopp, what a season it has been for the Arizona native. He's going to come into turn numbers 3 and 4. 13 top 10s. It'll be 12 top 5s. It'll be 7 wins. The 3rd driver to 10 wins in his HTRL career. Jayden Hopp, the champion of season number 4 in dominating fashion in Miami. A walk-off and a clinic in the season finale.
What a job, Jayden Hopp. I mean, every single race he was one of the biggest contenders, one of the best contenders, one of the fastest cars, one of the most dominant championship seasons that I've seen here on the iRacing service, and to do it in a league as competitive as the HTRL Guardian Premier Series really says a lot about Jayden Hopp and the talent that he has behind the wheel of these virtual race cars week in, week out. What a job from the 00. It was never a doubt.
Coming into season number 5, we will have had 4 different champions in as many seasons. The hunt for a repeat champion will still return, but with the performance that he put on this season, Jayden Hopp is making a really good case to be the first driver that holds that title.
Crazy that we haven't seen a repeat champion yet, but it just goes to show the talent spread that we have in this league. And like I said, I mean, it really goes to show how impressive it is what Jayden Hopp did here tonight and did here this season, to be able to win as many races as he did, to come out here in the championship race and win by as much time as he did. He had 27 seconds on his next closest championship contender. That's domination. That is the guy that deserved to win the championship the most after winning so many races, dominating this race. Love to see it. Jayden Hopp, congratulations, sir.
You saw Dustin Ping come up to give a congratulatory bump to Jayden Hopp, and Jayden Hopp's teammate, Sean Williams, pull up alongside him as well. Jayden Hopp is going to make his way around, and I do believe this is, I think, one of the tracks. No, it doesn't have a victory lane, but he is going to be able to at least take it to the infield. He'll continue to celebrate out here on the racetrack, and boy, a very well-deserving win at that. Let's take a rundown of official post-race results here in the final race of the season here this afternoon. For Paul's Night Shift 150, Jayden Hopp will take the win in dominating fashion, and with it, he will take the championship in season number 4. Dalton Kilroy will finish second to him alongside Jesse Gordon back in third. Ty Marasco is in fourth, Michael Bell Jr. fifth, Wyatt Philbrick in sixth. Second place in the championship will be Dustin Ping, finishing back in seventh. Williamson follows to the last two on the lead lap, 8th and 9th, and Kyle Wellman, the first car, 1 lap down in 10th.
Jumping back outside of the top 10, finishing in 11th place, Ethan Sikorsky, Scott Shire in 12th, Tanner Marr finishes out the season in 13th place, Nick Nickerson 14th, Mark Arthur with the top 15, David Leakey 16th, Jeremiah Hobbs 3rd in the championship, 17th on the racetrack, Connor Gibson 18th, Bob Berry 19th, and Nicholas Corsell 20th.
21st place is Paul Satmary. After big contact with Kevin Foster, Wyatt Walker will end his championship on the hauler, 36 laps down. Michael Ashmore didn't make it to the halfway point. He is joined by the likes of Larry Bell and Brian Dees. Adrian Loya, the only car that did not start this race, back in 26th. Well, a commanding drive this afternoon for the field. Let's take a rundown of the drivers that finished 1, 2, and 3 in this race. And we'll kick things off with none other than Jaden Hopp himself. The driver that comes home as the champion of season number 4. And Jaden, what a night for you. A absolutely dominating drive to close out the championship this afternoon. First off, how does it feel to be the season 4 champion, as well as becoming the 3rd ever driver in league history to 10 race wins?
I'd say it feels pretty good. Thank you very much. It feels good to close the season off, even just finishing off. It's been a long one. Good to win the thing though. So, yeah.
It was an absolutely stellar drive for you, right? And I mean, we talked about this being a storybook season for the 00 all season long. You were up there. You were fighting for these championships, and you were always going to be the title favorite entering recent action tonight. That was made very clear even all the way back last season in season number 3. You made a really damn good case to be HTRL's first repeat champion of season 5. November rolls around. Will we see you back to defend that title?
Yeah, I'd like to give it a go. I'd like to drive something that isn't the ARCA car, but yeah, I'm kind of speechless here.
Well, looking forward to the next season, there is one more thing on the mark, right? Not only would you be seeking to become the league's the first ever repeat champion in league history, you may very well also find yourself becoming the first ever champion, the first ever driver to dethrone Benjamin Lacey for all-time wins in an HTRL career. You're only 3 away from tying his record at 13, with you being at 10 now. Are you going to be breaking a record this next season as well?
Hopefully. I'm not sure which one I'd rather get more. Honestly, I think I'd rather be Ben for most wins more than win the championship, but I think we have a pretty good case for it. I think as good as I've been in the ARCA car, I think the Gen 4 might suit me a little better. I'll definitely have more fun driving it. But yeah, just gotta wait and see. I think it should go good, but we gotta wait.
Wish you the best of luck. We go racing once again. Congratulations once again on a record-setting season, and we'll see you next week. Well, not next week. Sorry, we'll see you in November when we swing back to Daytona.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope to see you guys even more in the future.
Jaden Hopp brings it home, number 1 here this afternoon. Also, before we move on to our number 2, I do want to point out something else, right? You mentioned a record-setting season. I mean that literally, right? Not only is he the 4th different champion this league's had as many seasons, not only is he the 3rd driver to 10 wins, he has also just broken Benjamin Lacey's record for most race wins in a single season, a record at 6 that has stood from season number 1. That has just been bested tonight, with Hopp making it to 7 in Miami.
It's ridiculous, man. Like you said, season or record-setting season for Jaden Hopp. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a season so dominant covering any league, right? I've been doing the announcing for a few years now, 3 years, I think. Man, time flies. I don't know if I've seen as dominant of a season, especially in a playoff format league like what we've just seen from Jaden Hopp. I mean, just phenomenal, man. Great job, Jaden.
And to think about how it started at Talladega, right? With what could have been, with him being a lap down from a pit mistake in that race and lucking out with a caution to get back onto the lap. I mean, it almost didn't happen. Shows just how wild a playoff formula like this can be. Let's bring in Dalton Kilrow, the second place contender, one of the league administrators, and he went out in the round of 8. Austin, you are standing by with Dalton Kilrow.
Yeah, typically, we pull in the second place driver, and actually, I gotta point out, he actually went out in the round of 12. I really got to make sure that we're right about that. I got to make sure Dalton doesn't have too big of a head or anything. But typically,
thanks for rubbing the salt in the wound, Austin.
Typically, we bring in the second place driver, and I go, man, what more did you need tonight to catch up to Jaden Hopp? But honestly, I think the answer to that is grip packs. So I don't even know if I want to ask that question. But Dalton, if we had a caution late, could you have done something? I feel like that was about the only way Hop was getting beat was on the short run
I feel like I had a chance if we did have a late yellow, because I know everybody that was out on that track was definitely gonna pit and take tires. Because even though the lap time fall off wasn't too bad, I mean, I think fell off 6-7 tenths by the end of the run, which normally that's nothing, but just the pure lack of grip, you wouldn't be able to do anything if you stayed out. So I just needed to stay in front of him and hold the lead and had that clean air, and that just didn't happen. So once he got clear, and I just had to stay in his tire tracks and couldn't ever really make a move on him. I knew it was gone as soon as, because I had hung about 0.2 of a second behind him, and then in 2 laps it went to 0.6, and I was like, oh, great, here we go, it's starting again. Flashbacks to last season, because he did the exact same thing last season, except I was in the playoffs last season. But that we can thank the round of 12 for that one.
Well, you do set the schedule, I think, or at least you have a pretty big hand in it, so I think that you can kind of blame yourself a little bit. But nonetheless.
Oh, no. There's 2 cars I can blame. Yeah, they know who they are.
Okay, well, we'll keep that under wraps then, unless you really want to spill the beans. But either way, obviously after the round of 12, you're bitter, right? You're upset. You get knocked out of the playoffs. Honestly, in a round you probably shouldn't have. You won a bunch. You win races. You expect to be in the championship for every single season. So you're bitter after the round of 12. But after tonight, knowing that nobody really had anything for Hop, does it at least make it feel a little bit better, or are you really upset you didn't get the second place in the championship that maybe you could have if you had made the Final Four tonight?
Yeah, I mean, playoffs or whatever. So that's why my idea for next season, it's not confirmed, but my idea is we're gonna cut the schedule a little bit, and we're gonna make it a 5-race, just straight up chase. No playoffs, no eliminations, just however many cars make it, reset with however you did in the regular season, and go from there. So that's my idea. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I'd like it to happen, just because it still allows somebody to have a bad race or end up getting taken out by somebody else not paying attention, and still be able to fight for it. So we'll see. But I'm just looking forward to Daytona and doing the duels again, and getting season 5 started up.
Well, Dalton, I know I don't have a say in it, but I honestly really like that idea. I kind of hope we see it as well. I'm not a big playoff fan myself, but nonetheless, it was a fun season covering y'all once again. It was awesome to get to watch y'all put on good races week in, week out. Exhilarating from the broadcast booth at many times. So, as one of the admins of the league, is there anything or anybody that you want to thank at the end of this interview, just on the basis of the whole season, and what are your kind of final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of already hit the nail on the head. We've had a lot of help this entire season with everybody that came out to sponsor a race. Golden Guardian Autosport for being the title sponsor for the league. Obviously, you guys for coming back and doing the broadcast for us. It's until you guys get sick of us, we're going to keep trying to come with you. Everybody that turned a lap in this league, because we've had a lot of people turn laps, whether they did 1 or 1,000. So the drivers are what make the league what it is. The fact that I think we still had 25 something drivers in the final race, which to average, I think we averaged about 30 drivers the entire season. To do that in a car that a lot of people are saying is a pile of dog crap, that's saying something about the community we've got here. And hopefully the Gen 4 is actually something a little more a little more easy to handle than the Legacy Gen 4, because I think you and I both know what happened the last time a league went to a Gen 4 car. It didn't last very well. So
I liked it.
we'll. Oh, I liked it too, but about 90% of the other people in the league didn't. But supposedly this one handles better, and I'm hoping that's the case, and it's not gonna be too much of a skill gap, but that's yet to be determined. Everybody that's come on, I think I've already said it, but everyone that's come on to sponsor a race or just provide any sort of help, it's been a team effort. I got to think. He's also not here tonight, but I got to thank Ben Lacey. I got to thank Michael Thorpe Jr., Jonathan Canfield, everyone else on the admin squad for stepping in. I got to thank Derek Watson for the penalty system that we're probably going to tweak a little bit, make it a little better. Hey, for a first draft of a penalty system, I think that worked pretty darn well. So we'll make some tweaks to that. That's his baby, and hopefully season 5 is as big of a hit as season 4 was.
Well, Dalton, from a league standpoint, congratulations on a fantastic season once again. From a driver standpoint, congrats on the second place finish once again. Hoping to see, next year, maybe if you don't have the playoffs, we'll see a lot better of a playoff run. I'm sure we will. But nonetheless, congratulations to the whole league on, once again, knocking it out of the park. One of my favorite leagues I've ever called. So congratulations once again, Dalton.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was your second place finisher and league admin Dalton Kilrow here on the last race of the season of season 4. Next up, we're going to pull up Jesse Gordon. He finished in 3rd place tonight. He'll be standing next to Nolan Rimple.
Jesse, a strong race for you here this afternoon. While Jaden Hopp was in a league of his own, you and Dalton Kilrow are having quite the fight there for second place, coming down into the final 20 or so laps of this race. You started back in 10th, and you didn't really leave the top 10 throughout pretty much the whole race tonight. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was an exciting race. Wasn't sure how the strategy was going to play out. That's why I was running it long, hoping for maybe a yellow to come out and trap a bunch of guys a lap down, and I would benefit on strategy. But it didn't play out that way, and so I was at a deficit for 10 or so laps before I'd pit compared to a lot of the guys up front. So I'd have to make my way back up. It's just kind of how the track and raced and the whole strategy played out. But all in all, it was able to keep it up top 3 most of the night, and it was still fun, still a really good race. Just a long green flag run, and just was hoping maybe if there was a late caution, maybe we'd be able to do something. But yeah, all in all, it was a lot of fun running with these guys.
There's not much left to say about this season, right? It draws to a close. We're back in November, though, and we were talking about some of the good performances that you've had this season so far, and much like Jaden Hopp, if you can keep those performances up in Season 5, there's a good chance you could be a serious threat for the title and prevent Jaden Hopp from being the first back-to-back champion. Do you plan on making a return full-time in Season 5?
I will definitely try. This season I joined late in the year, so it was already out of the cards, obviously, but ultimately, I try and make all the races if I can. It just depends on my work schedule. I'm on the West Coast, so just it depends. I'm going to see if I can. It'd be really nice if I could. This league is a lot of fun to run with these guys, and looking forward to Gen 4s. That should be interesting. So I do like those cars. The old version I liked the best, but the new version I think we can get more of a handle on it, and it should be fun. If I can make all the races, I'd definitely give it a run.
Well, sounds like a solid plan. We wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking home number 3, and we'll talk to you again in a little while here.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you guys, and thank everyone that's running in the league, and congrats on Jaden.
Jesse Gordon comes home 3rd this afternoon, and Austin, that is going to be a wrap then for us here for the season. What a wild race that this one ended up being. But season 4, it seems like a while, or season 5, right? It seems like a while ago, all the way out in November, but those weeks go by quickly, and sooner or later, we're going to be right back at it once again in Daytona.
I was about to say, you know how fast these weeks are going to fly by. I mean, we're gonna go through these next 2 months, and then all of a sudden we're going to be right back here, or right where it all started, with a little bit different of a car, maybe a couple new guys to the league. But again, like Kilro said, there was an average of 30 cars a race here this year. They had 25 for the season finale. In the final 4, right, whenever most people aren't going to show up, there's only 4 guys left for the championship. They had 25 guys show up. If they can do that for the ARCA car, I guarantee you they can do the similar thing for the new Gen 4 coming up here in 2 months' time. I can't wait to get that one started. Love the Gen 4 car. Think it's going to be fantastic. Just can't wait for November to come around.
Before we get to that and more action still to come here on Green Flag TV. The Mid-Atlantic Racing Series is back for more. That'll be coming on up tomorrow afternoon at Kansas. The first of a triple header, including the Premier Sim Racing Outlaw Motorsports Truck Series and the Highland Diecast Collectible Speed Cup Series. OMSRL will also be at the action track at the Richmond Raceway, and from there, the Zero Torque Racing League sees their season opener with the Clash coming at you from the North Wilkesboro Speedway on Friday night. SRA Gen 4 action is back to Michigan International Speedway on Saturday night, with Classic IndyCar Series and Blazing Pedals ARCA action coming at you on Sunday night. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. What a wild season this has been. Thank you once again for the High Tide Racing League for carrying us on for one more race here this season. Thank you all so much for joining us throughout this season. November is just around the corner. We'll see you later when we go racing once again on Green Flag TV.